day. I am H. Robert Silverstein, MD, for the Preventive Medicine Center and West Hartford Cable Access TV. We're getting more and more automatic here. Jen Evans did set me up remotely. She is the executive director of West Hartford Cable Access TV. Let me repeat that. Jennifer Evans is the executive director of West Hartford Cable Access TV. In a certain sense, she hasn't fired me yet. So let's go on. There are a gazillion things to talk about. One is, to me, I believe there is a recent uptick in crime in West Hartford. Anyone else notice that? I think that is a true statement. I'm not sure. On the other hand, let's talk about the CDC for a moment, and we'll come back to the crime issue. The CDC specifically withheld data to show that there was no benefit, no significant benefit for immunization in children who were 5 to 18, I think it was. Then they claimed there was a benefit. The fact of the matter is there is a website that was sent to the Department of Defense that got completely different information. You know, everybody talks about conspiracy theories and the government is lying to us and so on and so on. Never have I seen so much of that actually be true. FBI investigating parents who complain about schools and the lack of closing the southern border to illegal immigration. I'm not against keeping the southern border open, but you know, most of us feel safe in our everyday life because of laws. Well, laws are not arbitrary. You don't pick this one or that one. It's not a cafeteria where you get to make some decisions about some things and not other things. The law is the law for everybody, and the fact that it is balanced and applies to all is what makes it reasonable. The United States has become unreasonable. I think that it's interesting that President Joe Biden, which means his policies are at a lowest approval record than I think almost any other president. I'm not sure of that, but they are definitely below the levels of Donald Trump. And Trump was consistently vilified for reasons that may or may not have validity. But the point being is that Joe Biden has a worse approval rate than Donald Trump did at this point in their presidencies. Why is that? What Democrat policies? Now, bear in mind, the Democrats control the Congress. They control the House of Representatives, they control the Senate, and they control the presidency. So whatever is being rejected is falling on my fellow Democrats as to their behaviors. And what are these behaviors that affect our governor, our mayor of West Hartford, and so on? Now, let's start with issue number one, inflation. The producer price index, which is what manufacturers pay for their goods, which pricing will be passed on to the public because manufacturers are not going to work at a loss, is 11.5%. Larry Summers states that a recession comes when, let's see, it's 4% numbers. When inflation is above 4% and unemployment is below 4%, which is the current status. So Larry Summers, former economics person in, I don't remember which government, I think the Clinton government, possibly the Obama government, says that the current policies are provoking a recession. Well, let's go back to that 11.5% PPI index inflation. And the prediction is there will be 14% inflation instead of the current 8.5% inflation. Inflation that is outpacing wage gains for employees. Everybody is aware of the increased costs. Now, my own analysis as a longstanding liberal Democrat has to do with precisely what president has done. President Biden, when he took office, basically said he was going to kill um, oil and gas. And I can get you that quote. You might be curious to follow me on Facebook because I have interesting data. First of all, let's go with change the subject. We'll come back to everything, I hope. Median household income in the United States by ethnic group. The highest income group is American, Southeast Asia Indians. Then comes Filipinos, then comes Taiwanese, Sri Lanka, Japanese, Malaysia, Chinese, Pakistan, then white Americans, then Korean Americans, Indonesians, then the average American, Thai American, Bangladeshi, Nepali, Hispanic, Latino, and African American. So clearly there is no discrimination based on color. You may say, well, it's on race. I can only give you the cited numbers and show you that there are groups of people who have done exceedingly well, well above the average American, well above Caucasians. So going down, now let's see here if I can find this information. I have two computers set up. Let's see. Hang on. All right, here was an entry. Is there some civil way to stop Biden's stupidity and insanity, anti-American destructive behavior? This exceeds anything Trump actually did besides his silly tweets. The new CBS News YouGov poll showed Biden has an over 60% disapproval rating on several issues: crime, immigration, the economy, and inflation. Only 7% of those surveyed said that they think things in America are going very well. All right, that was one entry. Now, yes, the Defense Medical Epidemiology Database, DMED, if you want to look it up, says the statistics for side effects from immunization are much larger than have been reported. In fact, we knew the CDC lied, as I already said, about the one reported benefit to children who were age 5 to whatever. And I don't remember whether that was primary immunization or a booster. I guess it was primary immunization. They withheld the data that there was no benefit. That is not the way our government should be behaving. They should not be withholding, shielding data from the American public. Now, let's see. We talked a little bit about crime in West Hartford. Here's a little crime statistic you may not know. Home break-ins tend to occur between 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. They tend to last 9 minutes. Now, that's the vast majority, but that's just kind of FYI. I want to jog a little bit about some supplements that I recommend. I know today's program is wandering all over the place, and you must wonder, what is my agenda? And I guess I have a lot of agendas, but forgive me for being a bit disorganized today. By the way, people who are organized live longer than people who are disorganized. The supplements that I recommend during while the coronavirus is still around. I recommend lactoferrin, Lactoferrin. That's an immune enhancer. Immune Renew, another immune enhancer. Vitamin D, 5,000 units. 5,000, not 2,000, not 100. An interesting study was just done. It was a meta-analysis that showed that up to 10,000 units of vitamin D a day in children, or a single dose of 600,000 units, that's a massive dose, was safe. The current, what do they call themselves? National Association of Science. They were formerly called something else. Have recommended 1,000, 2,000, maybe even up to 4,000 units. Their data is being disputed in multiple locations. And I know the head of that group, she's a professor at Harvard. I know her by emails. She was not happy with my last criticism that they never even did a wing in the study that showed what the benefits would be of people who took 5,000 units a day of vitamin D, or if they took 5 grams of liquid fish oil. 5 grams is equal to 5 capsules, but I'm against capsules and recommend the liquid. The study showed that there was no benefit for heart disease if you did the D3 at like 2,000 or 4,000 units a day, that there was no benefit from fish oil if you took 1,000 units a day, but combined there was a benefit in, I believe, cancer reduction. But to me, they never even did the proper study, and I wrote that. The proper study should have been 5,000, let's see, something of Institute of Medicine, IOM. Uh, let's see, what is her name? Joanne is her first name, and I'm forgetting her last name. Anyhow, I stated that they should have done the study with 5,000 units of vitamin D3 a day, and I did say 5 days a week, which, what's that worth? 25,000. So that would be the same as about 3,000 units every day. But for 1 year, if they were going to, what I recommend is 5,000 units a day for 1 year, and then reduce it to 5 days a week. So in the study, they should have done 5,000 units of vitamin D3 a day. The Institute of Medicine study. And Joanne Manson is her name, professor of medicine at Harvard, at Brigham and Women's University. I'm not mad at her. I'm just trying to help the sister out. So, and she didn't like what I had to say, so she didn't respond to my latest email. She's been very even-handed in her responses, usually defensive. Of course, I seem to be offensive in what I say, that you should have done this or you should have done that. But regardless, Joanne Manson, the current chairman of the vitamin D fish oil study from Harvard and the Institute of Medicine, I say got it wrong. So if they had done physicians who prescribe or recommend fish oil almost never recommend 1,000. I'm sure some do. 1 milligram of 1 gram of fish oil a day. They recommend 5 grams if they know what they're talking about. And as I said before, I recommend the liquid because you don't need, forgive the word, crap that's in the capsule covering itself. So that's why I recommend the liquid fish oil, which has to be stored in the refrigerator after it's open. A very good brand is lemon flavored, and therefore it's much more tolerable. Carlson's cod liver oil, 1 swig is what I recommend. That's about a teaspoon. 1 swig of Carlson's cod liver oil 5 days a week uh, is anti-inflammatory. So going back to the study, they should have given 5,000 units of vitamin D3 a day, and they should have given 1 swig Carlson's cod liver oil. You may say, well, that's going to be hard to measure and follow. Look, don't make things up. It's easy enough to do if properly instructed. So the supplements that I recommend during the coronavirus are astaxanthin, a bipolar antioxidant, resveratrol, that's grapeseed extract, quercetin, which is in watermelon, vitamin D3, lactoferrin. Now you may say, wait a minute, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff here. Look, it's not easy to fight off this coronavirus. And if you want either a mild infection or you want to prevent it, this is what I suggest. So now you have it. Now, as far as the current recommendations on treatment, all the discussion has been about vaccination. There are medications that can mollify, improve the inflammation if you contract the virus significantly. Now, before the arrival of the Omicron virus, I had a list of like 10 different things that I recommended, about half of which were prescription medications. Colchicine, a gout drug, fenofibrate, a triglyceride drug. The most recent addition was Luvox, an antidepressant. Then there was if you got infected, statin, Crestor or Lipitor, and then of course vitamin C, vitamin D, lactoferrin, sulforaphane, that's like from broccoli and cauliflower. Those things are all helpful in the treatment. If you want to see what I recommend, go to the Preventive Medicine Center website, and on the right-hand side of that homepage, you'll find 3 articles on the coronavirus. Don't read, well, if you're curious, read the one that says Summary Coronavirus Update, because it's very long. But the other 2 are not so long, and you can read through them. By the way, one of the articles contains another, within it, a report from the University of Michigan that said 1 month of lockdowns were benefit, but anything after that was counterproductive because of, I just read it today, there was an increase in alcohol toxicity in women during the lockdowns. There was an increase in suicides. There was an increase in business depression. There was an increase in business failures. You all were there, so you know what the downsides of the lockdowns were. In addition, masking was overdone. To begin with, most people don't even wear the correct mask or wear it correctly. The correct way to wear the KN95 mask is up over the bridge of the nose and beneath the chin. I see all these things on TV where it shows people who got the mask down over their mouth, but not over their nose. Utterly absurd. If you're going to wear a mask up to the bridge of the nose and beneath the chin, and that mask should be the more effective, KN95. KN95. And I don't believe you have to wear a new one every day. Well, anyhow, I certainly don't believe that masks should be required on airplanes anymore, or trains, or buses. I think that's just one of the things I talk about is silverbacks in one of the articles on that website. And silverbacks are gorillas, mature male gorillas. And they're the ones that we see in the movies pounding their chest like this and letting everybody know who's in charge. That is exactly how I see the government. The government has letting everybody know who is in charge. You can use the word control, and I think that is correct. But the fact of the matter is, it is about showing who is the biggest, most macho, powerful, silverback force. And the government has behaved with this heavy hand. It is ridiculous that, like I say, buses and trains and airplanes have wonderful ventilation systems. By the way, I did send to St. Francis Hospital information on new forms of lighting that kill all viruses within 5 minutes of turning them on. And those could be installed, and that would be one of the easiest ways of ending this environment. They could be put in airplanes, they could be put on trains, buses, and then nobody would have to wear a mask anymore. So going on. So Luvox, the antidepressant, the other cholesterol and triglyceride medications, the gout medication, relatively high dose short-term steroids. I had to treat one patient I had to treat 38 patients who had the alpha, beta, delta, gamma, Omicron variants, but since alpha, beta, gamma, delta, but since coronavirus variants, but since corona has come, I treated one patient with one medicine of 50. I had 50 patients who had the Omicron infection, and I only had to treat one of them, and I just used steroids one time on that patient. I didn't use the whole cocktail or soup that I described to you before. All right, let's see what else I had on Facebook that you may find interesting. Since 1967, there have been 41 climate predictions. All 41 were wrong. Most home burglaries occur between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and last 9 minutes. Here's Joe Biden. No more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the industry to continue to drill. It ends. That was Joe Biden's policy. It is because of that and his paying people not to work that the United States is in the mess that it's in, and the public knows that, which is why his approval rate is 33%, lower than Donald Trump. By the way, it's time to stop talking about Trump. He's not in office anymore. That's just as kind of a stupid discussion. Now, let's see. Here we go. Lockdowns and masks in the USA haven't worked. Where did that come from? That was sort of a discussion of Fauci and his position. Here's the producer price index discussion, up 11.5%. The prediction is for 14.5% inflation. Lawrence Summers, economist and former Harvard University president, said to count on a recession due to Biden's policy, because inflation is above 4% and unemployment is below 4%. 54% of the public disapprove of Biden's performance. The key question is, are you better off now than you were before January 20th, 2021? Let me repeat that. Are you better off now, since Biden took presidency office, than you were before Biden took the office of presidency on January 20th, 21? The date of Biden's inauguration. Going on. Oh, for those of you who would like a little trip into some luxury, visual luxury, you ought to check out the website of M.S.Rau, R-A-U. They have amazing art, jewelry, stunning stuff that is real eye candy if you want to check it out. Headline today: crime continues to surge in Democrat-run cities. That is something I started off with in the discussion. I believe, whether it's reported as such or not, the crime is significantly elevated in West Hartford. Let me know what you have to say. Going on. An economist said the following. Oh, I can't read that one. It's a little bit rough. Let's see. Animals who become infected with the SARS coronavirus infection include cats, dogs, tigers, lions, mink, hamsters, ferrets, macaques, and even grivets. I don't even know what a grivet is, but llamas do not. Llamas have small antibodies that sort of entrap the virus itself, much smaller. They're called nanobodies, tiny antibodies. And if we could manufacture those, they would be very effective. Let's see here. All right, now, what else do we want to talk about? Look up urolithina, Urolithina. It is a supplement, and I wrote it down. I don't remember exactly why I wrote it down, but it was very powerful in terms of its benefits. I remember I told you about astaxanthin, resveratrol, quercetin, vitamin D3, and lactoferrin. Those 5 things will help you prevent acquiring the coronavirus and reducing its toxicity if you take it. By the way, I am not for treating anyone who turns out to be positive. I think you have to give it a day or two to see how sick they really are. If they are sick, I'm totally for it. But the safety of these new medicines, in my mind, is not really substantiated. They were the whole issue with the immunizations and the treatment medication, and what I recommend is how safe are they going to be in the long term? And it is anybody's best guess about what constitutes the long term. I'm kind of wondering how much time I have left. I don't know how to see that. Well, I'm absolutely convinced that the downsides of the immunizations are much more extensive than have been reported. And as I told you before, that DMED report, which will strike you as by a person by the name of either Renz, R-E-N-Z. I sort of guessed it. All right, so that's it. Dismiss. All right, sorry for the rambling today. I know it wasn't very organized, and but I hope it was interesting. And if you have comments, you may contact me at 860-549-3444, which is the office telephone number. And we do have the website, www.thepmc.org, the Preventive Medicine Center. If you stick my name, H. Robert Silverstein, MD, in Google, you'll see a link, and that link takes you directly to the website. On the right-hand side of that homepage is where the information is on the coronavirus. Hope you find the other posts there helpful. I know they could be. So that's it. Thanks to Jennifer Evans, who hasn't fired me yet. I hope you enjoyed today's program. H. Robert Silverstein, MD, for the Preventive Medicine Center and West Hartford Cable Access TV. Good day, and God bless you all. Happy Easter, happy Ramadan, happy Passover.